In this video, we will discuss JDBC client and its SQL method. Spring JDBC client is a unified JDBC access facade introduced in Spring 6.1. JDBC client can perform create, read, update and delete operations, supporting JDBC-style, positional as well as Spring-style named parameters. JDBC client delegates to JdbcTemplate for JDBC-style positional parameters, or we can say index parameters, and delegates to NamedParameterJdbcTemplate for Spring-style named parameters. So let's start. I have a table . It has customer ID, cust underscore ID, cust underscore name, city. Cust underscore ID is auto incremented. Right now, we have no data. Come to the Spring application. First of all, we will configure database configurations, URL, username, password, and connection pooling. Here I am using Hikari data, Hikari CP. In Spring Boot, we are done to use JDBC client if we just configured our database settings. Now come here. To get the instance of JDBC client, just auto-wire it. We have auto-wired it. We should know basically the basic difference between JDBC client and JdbcTemplate and NamedParameterJdbcTemplate. Basically, JDBC client is the combination of JdbcTemplate and NamedParameterJdbcTemplate. JDBC client has the parameter binding for index parameter, and in NamedParameterJdbcTemplate it uses named style. So what JDBC client does, it performs both. When it is index parameter, it delegates to JDBC client, and when it is named parameter, it delegates to JdbcTemplate. So let's use JDBC client. The method of JDBC client SQL is the entry point to use JDBC client. JDBC SQL method accepts the query and it returns statement spec. Using statement spec, we can fetch data from database, create, update and delete. To fetch data, statement spec provides query method, and to bind parameters, it provides param and params method. To update, delete and create data, we need to use update method. So I am starting from here. I will perform completely crude operation. So I am starting from create. This is the insert query. It has two customer name and city, two columns, and ID will be auto incremented. So pass this SQL to SQL method. It returns statement spec, use params to bind the parameters, and then call update method using statement spec. It will return the affected rows, means if I am inserting, so the number of inserted rows. If one row is inserted, it will return 1. Okay. So let's run it. Right now I will just run this piece of code. I have already created a client. This will add data, and the customer name is this one and city is this one. Let's run it. We can check into database. Yes, ID is 1, customer name is this, city is this. Try one more to add it. Again check it. Okay, so it is inserting. Now we will fetch data. First we will fetch complete all rows. So this is the SQL query. Pass this SQL query to SQL method. It will return statement spec, and using statement spec call the query method. Query method will query the database and return the result query spec. It will be the list of this type. So we call the list of rows method of result query spec, that will return this list. We can fetch data from this list in this way. Iterate it, and for every row, using the column name, we get this data. Using other column names, we get all these data. Okay, so let's so try this also. Now I'm making it off. Try this. Okay, here I am fetching all rows. Now let's try to pass, like try to use where filter. Look at here, the query has filter for customer ID and city. Select star from customer where customer ID is equal to this and city is equal to this. Pass this SQL query to this. Now we have to bind the parameters. Here it is index parameters. So at place 1 I am passing customer ID. I have defined here these two data hard coded, and so for the place of 1 this will bind to this place, and for the place of 2 this will bind to this place. So ID will be 1 and the city will be Delhi 1, because we don't have any data like Delhi. Okay, so let's run it. We will get only one row for the ID 1 and city Delhi 1. Yes, we have filtered the data on the basis of name and city. As we have discussed earlier that JDBC client can also perform the named parameter JDBC template. Okay, so what we have to do is just use named parameter. Suppose this is CID for customer ID and this is CT. Now use here as a string CID customer ID and CT. So this parameter, this named parameter will be searched into the query, and wherever will be CID, the value will be replaced by this value. In the same way, the value for CT will be replaced by this value. Okay, so again it is just filtering data for customer ID 1 and city Delhi 1. Let's run it. First I am clearing it. Okay, so we have seen that how are we fetching all rows and rows on the basis of condition using index parameter binding and as well as named parameter binding. Okay, as we have seen how to insert the data, now let's see if we want to update, then what we will do. I have already some code. Customer ID, I am updating the customer ID 2, suppose, with the city Varanasi. SQL is this update customer set city. This is our SQL. Again call the SQL method, pass the SQL query, set the parameters, here it is index parameters, and call the update method. It will return the number of rows affected. Let's see whether it is updated or not. To check it, we can go to the database. Let's go to the database. Sorry, I have not called this one. Okay, so that city has updated. In this way, we have updated the data. Now, let's delete the data. Look here, this is the query to delete the data on the basis of customer ID. Pass this SQL to SQL method, this will return statement spec. Bind the parameter, call the update method, this will return the number of rows affected. Okay, let's delete the first row. Call this method, check the database, delete it. Okay, in this way, here we have learned that how to use JDBC client for create, read, update and delete operation. Okay, thank you.